ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
It is Tuesday, July 2nd. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of today's show. We're going to get your text in this hour. We do that every day, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll give you a chance to win Colecats tickets. Weekend series are coming up. We've got tickets for every game this weekend, so open text line this hour. Your participation gets you a shot at winning tickets to go see any of the games coming up this weekend. Of course, with those series coming up, we'll have those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So looking forward to a fun series. 2 series coming up. Pulaski River Turtles and the Bluefield Ridge Runners. And, of course, the Colecats are on the road. Take it on the Bluefield Ridge Runners. Both those games are going to be at 6:30. You can head over to the Colecats website, get the video stream there. And, of course, if you can't watch the video stream for the home series, we got you covered. And, again, that's right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Coming up tonight on the program, yesterday we spoke with Julie Folks, Marshall women's basketball coach. Today we've got Marshall men's basketball coach Cornelius Jackson joining us about 5:15. We'll talk about summer practices and, of course, look ahead to the season. He's coming on the program. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow on the program, Caleb Bowen's going to join us. We'll talk a little cross-country with him as we get you closer to your 4th of July weekend. And then Thursday and Friday, we've got taking the big chair, Ben Anderson. Our intern is taking over the show for Thursday and Friday, and I'm sure he's going to have 2 days of fun planned for you. So as the holiday weekend gets closer, Ben's going to take over the big chair just for a couple of days. So we'll have a good, I hope, really good weekend to look forward to with Ben and, of course, everything happening, including Colecats baseball. So how's everyone doing today? A lot of buzz about what's happening with the Marshall women's basketball team. We had Julie Folks on yesterday, as you just heard. If you didn't get that interview, you can go back and get it on our podcast. The Big Green Scholarship Foundation announcing there is a limited availability right now for traveling with the Thundering Herd. Marshall will be traveling from August 11th to the 17th, and they're going to be going to Italy, several destinations in Italy. If you are interested, you'd like to go on that tour of Italy with the Marshall women's basketball team, you can contact Alicia Parker. Her number 304-696-4661. I'll give that to you again for those of you maybe trying to write that down, or if you're listening on the podcast, write it down now, 304-696-4661. Of course, you want to know more about this trip. Julie Folks talked about that yesterday, and that's on the podcast right now, so you can go back and listen to the complete interview. Also mentioning that the team will be participating in a multi-team event that is coming up later this year, so off to a good start so far for the women's team, getting that tour of Italy, those extra practices, and even getting to be on TV and an MTE. That's going to be, I think, a nice start to the season for the Thundering Herd before it gets into conference play. And of course, the challenge is, can you maintain a sense of championship caliber basketball with a new coach and, again, a semi-new roster? You have a lot of players that returned. At the same time, you've got a core of players that are going to be brand new. A lot of challenges. So you can go back and listen to that interview now, and I encourage you to do so. And again, it's on our podcast. You can catch that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So I mentioned earlier the Colecats on the road taking on the Bluefield Ridge Runners, and then they got the home series coming up Thursday through Sunday, 2-game homestand against Pulaski, and then 2-game homestand against Bluefield. The Colecats right now trying to make some moves. 9-14. 9-14. Here's an opportunity. If the Colecats can get the best of the Ridge Runners, they might be able to catch them and put a dent in their standings because they're 9-14 right now. Bluefield is 13-10. You can take 4 games. You're going to catch right back up with them. Of course, it depends on what Burlington does if you're going to become 3rd or 4th. But if you can catch up with Bluefield, you might have a shot at one of those 2 top spots. And again, that's important because postseason. I mean, we're 1 month in and we got a month to go. It's a short season, but June and July, and then we've got a playoff for hopefully the Coal Cats coming up after the end of the regular season. You got to get some wins now. I think the first month has been pretty successful so far for the Coal Cats. The second month, going to have to start making some moves. Johnson City taking on Greenville tonight. Danville taking on the Sock Puppets. We're going to be rooting for, of course, Danville in that one. They're 14-8. I think I'd rather the Sock Puppets lose because the Coal Cats can catch them quicker than they can catch Danville right now. So I think I'm going to take Danville over the Sock Puppets, Pulaski, and the Bristol State Liners. I'm going to take Bristol in that one because, again, the Turtles are right behind the Coal Cats. And then the Axemen taking on the River Riders. Not really worried too much about that. It's a West matchup. And then, of course, you've got your Coal Cats and the Ridge Runners. Hopefully, Tri-State can get the win tonight and take that series and start catching up to Bluefield. Maybe be in one of those top 2 spots. That's all I want right now, be in position to be in one of those top 2 spots. I don't know if home really matters when it comes to ultimately what's going to happen. I think it's important, but I don't think it truly matters. Again, this is a short season for these 2 teams. So we'll get you caught up in everything coming up on the show today, but we're going to talk to the head coach of the Marshall men's basketball team here in the next couple of minutes, Cornelius Jackson. We'll catch up with him as far as what's on his mind, talk about how summer practice has been so far, what he see from his roster, and, of course, we'll open our text lineup for you at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's coming up, and then the rest of the news, all of that on today's edition of The Drive right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big money on everything for your outdoor projects at Menards. Shop our huge in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated decking and lumber. Our drive-through lumber yard makes loading up on big savings easy. Plus, get free estimates fast using our deck design programs in-store or on Menards.com. Start your outdoor lumber project today and save big money at Menards. Number 1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Summer, what's not to love? Well, maybe not the scorching temperatures. Every day can't be 75 degrees with a breeze. So I went to Kohl's and stocked up on looks that'll keep me and my husband cool all season long. I got 20% off already great prices on linen dresses, cute jumpsuits, and comfy polos. Plus, I saved $15 because I spent over $75. And I earned Kohl's cash. So bring on the summer heat. We're ready to weather it in style. All thanks to Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end July 7th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. The text line is open. We'll open that back up here for you in just a moment. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I want to welcome to the program now. He is the head coach of the Marshall men's basketball team, Cornelius Jackson. Coach, good to talk to you again. How's your summer been so far?
It's been pretty good. How you guys doing?
We're good. You've been right back at it. I don't think you've stopped since you took the job officially. Have you had a day off?
I haven't, but you know what? It's been fun. You know, when the transition was made, we had to add 8 guys, and we just signed our last player 2 weeks ago, so we've been in full swing of things since then.
You've also made some additions to your staff. I guess that's a good place to start there as far as your staff is concerned. Rob Fulford's on staff now, and he's a guy that a lot of people from the area know. If they don't know him, he's been involved with high-level basketball his entire career, and you get to bring him back home. And how excited were you to be able to make that happen?
Super excited. Rob is a rock star. I've known Rob for several years, obviously with his success at Huntington Prep. But before that, he had the program in Beckley, up close to Oak Hill, 15 minutes away. So I've known Rob several years, always been impressed with his work. He was Huntington Prep, then he went to Missouri, was there a few years, and then obviously the success at Akron.
He's a guy that I would say is the complete package. He gives you a really good basketball IQ, and at the same time, he's good with recruiting. So he's the complete package. And this is a guy, I'm sure this is a bonus for you. He could be a head coach anywhere.
Right. Yeah, like I said, Rob's a rock star. So we're very fortunate to have him on staff here at Marshall. So
he's back, and of course, you had to, of course, build this roster with the transfer portal. Every year it's going to be different. You can't just guarantee that this team you had this year is going to be the team you had, next year. So, with that said, you've made some signings. You've added a lot of players. Maybe it'd be best for you to maybe highlight who you've brought in and maybe highlight why you brought them in and what you're looking for.
Do we have enough time? No, we brought in Michael Dawson, obviously. Huntington, West Virginia kid. Micah's been in Akron his whole career, and he decided to come back home. He won 3 MAC championships at Akron, so he's played in some high-level games. But he's a tough kid. He's experienced. He has good character, and he's a competitor. So Micah's the first guy we brought in. We brought in the twin, the Gibbs twin, Cade and Jacob. Those guys played NAIA at Grace College. The last 2 years, they were 64-5. Jacob was Defensive Player of the Year. Both of those guys are all-league players at their level. They had 3 guys leave their team this year. So they came to Marshall, and their starting center went to Colorado. So brought those guys in, obviously high-character competitors. The Zane Mingo is a kid from Hamilton, Ontario. He came in highly recommended from our Canadian sources there, and after we laid eyes on him, we were impressed with the way he's able to score the basketball. The Zane was, again, he's an all-league guy in the Canadian leagues up there. He averaged 20 points a game. Jalen Spear came to us from Florida A&M. Coach Adam Williams did a great job recruiting him and kind of sealing the deal on him. He averaged 15.5 last year, several assists, several rebounds, so we're excited to have him. We just signed a high school kid, Caden White. He's also from Florida. Signed him last week. He had a great high school career. We've added Kai Spears, Christian Spears' son. He's been in Alabama the last 2 years, so he's seen some high-level basketball, been around some high-level athletes, and obviously Nate Oates and those guys do a great job, so he's had big-time coaching.
Yeah, and you bring those guys in to complement what you have already. What have you seen so far as trying to fit the pieces in to make sure that chemistry works?
Well, we're not done. We brought in Will Moore. A lot of times people forget about the 2 freshmen that we signed early out of Atlanta. Will Moore, big-time athlete, shooter, high-energy guy, 6'7", and then Eric Harding, 6'10", kid from Charlotte, North Carolina. And both of those guys, they seem to be on the back burner because they signed early, but they were a huge addition to our program.
And that's something that it feels like now with the COVID year, that's finally running out. You're going to be able to make more of those offers to kids coming in. The transfer portal might not move as much, so you feel confident that you can maybe bring a couple of kids in and try to develop them and maybe take them all the way to their senior year.
Well, the big thing in the transfer portal is obviously keeping the guys, retaining the guys from your team. So we were able to do that with Nate Nobina, which was huge for us. Those Obina averaged 15 and 8. Nate averaged a double-double. So just retaining those guys were huge. But we also retained a few other guys, Ryan Nutter, Wyatt Fricks. We retained Kyson Pruitt. So a lot of times, again, people get caught up on who did you bring in and who did you recruit, and they forget about the guys, the valuable guys already on your roster. So we were able to do that, and we're happy about it.
Yeah, and the plus with Nate and Obina is, of course, they bring you that veteran leadership there. Those are your leaders there, and yeah, as well as those guys do, probably is going to lead the way for the rest of the team.
Yes. So it's important. Those guys are high level basketball, but players, but also high level people.
So I mentioned the kind of get that chemistry going with players. It's an easy question to ask, but every year is a new team, so every year you're trying to develop chemistry, and of course it helps when you have returning players. But in this day and age now, with transfer portal bringing players in, of course you're recruiting from the high school ranks. This is just another day at the office, getting everybody on the same page these days.
Yeah, that's one of our goals in our first team meeting this summer was to grow as a team, and I've been impressed so far with our guys, the way they cheer for one another, the way they lift each other up, the way they compete in a competitive way and get after it. Those guys, again, in recruiting, it's like putting a puzzle together, right? So you have to add some guys, who are athletic, some guys who are strong, some guys who are skilled. But one thing we will continue to do is go after high character guys.
Cornelius Jackson with us, head coach of the Marshall men's basketball team. So with everyone coming in, you've pretty much, you feel you've addressed all of those needs that you were looking at earlier when you were trying to put this roster together, everything that you wanted to target?
Yes. Again, I'm happy with our roster. We've had, today was our 11th workout, I believe, and again, I'm just impressed with these guys, with the attitude that they come with every day, ready to work, ready to compete, ready to learn, and they're making a conscious effort to grow as a team this summer.
Cornelius Jackson with us, head coach of the Marshall men's basketball team. So summer practices have been going so far, and of course, so as we look ahead to the upcoming season, I know you're going to be excited. We'll get hopefully a schedule soon. We know a couple of opponents, but what are you looking forward to the most with this upcoming season? I know the focus is going to be on you being the head coach and being the first year coach of the Thundering Herd, but what are you trying to focus on day to day, just to get to the point where we can just play basketball?
Well, again, I don't want to make it about me. It's never been about me. The reason I got into coaching is to be a part of something bigger than myself. And coming home, 7 seasons ago when Coach D'Antoni brought me here, that's what I was so excited about, is being at Marshall and being at a place that's bigger than me. So I'm just focusing on, getting better. We have goals as a team that we want to accomplish, but the main thing me and my coaching staff are doing, we're keeping our heads down and working and trying to build a program and build a roster and build a team that we can all be proud of.
And you can do that, and we've seen in the Sun Belt that's possible. And with the leadership of Christian Spears, we've seen a lot of things that have progressed, further along than in a long time here at Marshall University. And so we've seen that if you put the effort into it, it could happen for this Marshall basketball team. You've got everything you need right now to make this successful.
Yeah, I believe we do. I said, I guess it was 17-18 the year we won it. I'll never forget, I spoke at Fat Patty's and to a group, and I told the group, I said, the only way we'll do this is we do it together. Now, did I have any idea that we were going and win the Conference USA and go to the NCAA and beat Wichita? No, but this is Marshall is Huntington. Huntington is Marshall, and we have to highlight and support each other. So the only way that we can do this, you mentioned Christian, Brad Smith, our administration, they do a great job, but we also need the community. We need the community to get behind Marshall, not just the basketball team, but Marshall athletics in general. and really wrap their arms around these guys and support these guys. And I'm not just talking about the basketball team. Obviously, I'm just talking about the athletes in general here at Marshall. So the men and women who are on these athletic scholarships or competing in athletics here at Marshall wrap their arms around and really lift these guys up and lift these young ladies up. Because, again, the only way that I know how to be successful is we all do it together. It's not about Cornelius Jackson. It's not about Obina. It's not about Nate Martin. It's about Marshall and, doing it together.
And I was going to mention, it's got to say something about what you're doing so far that you bring in Kai Spears. He didn't have to come and be with his father. He could have continued to Alabama. Alabama, that's a great destination to be for a basketball player, but he chose to come to Huntington to be part of what is being built here at Marshall. So that's got to say something that, a kid from Alabama, he looks at what's happened in Marshall and it works better for him.
Yeah, Kai's a worker. We're happy to have Kai. He's a great young man. He's always in the gym. He's always giving 100%. So, again, we'll continue to recruit character guys. That's really important. That's really important to me as the head coach here, is to recruit obviously talented guys, but character is right up there as well.
My guest is Cornelius Jackson, head coach of the Marshall men's basketball team. We've got the start of summer practices. For those who maybe haven't seen what you've been doing so far, we talked to Julie Folks yesterday. She's doing 3-on-3s. Are you doing anything special or fun to trying to get these competitive juices going for these guys?
You know what? We're just making everything a competition. So we've had shooting drills. We've had certain type of passing drills, whether it's ball handling, but everything's a competition, and it's a consequence for a winner and loser. Just trying to build a mentality with these guys early on, and again, I'm excited and fired up about what I see after the 11th practice. I know it's early, but again, these guys are coming in ready to work and competing at a high level.
My guest, Cornelius Jackson, head coach of the Marshall men's basketball team. So summer practices continue, and it's always fun to kind of put together in your mind. It's early, I know. Okay, who's going to start? What's the roster going to look like? It's wide open right now with all these guys, these new guys and returners. There's not a set roster so far. These guys are competing every day.
Everyone will get their opportunity. It's about that's the fun part about it, right? You come in, you compete, and you earn it. That's one of our mantras this year is earn it. So we know that we have to earn everything, and again, we look forward to showing up every day and competing at a high level. My guest is Cornelius Jackson. So we got some schedule news out of Julie yesterday. I'm going to try to pry some stuff out of you. Anything that maybe you can accidentally spill, let us know what we can look forward to with the schedule. I can't accidentally spill anything. Sorry, guys. I had to try at least, though. But you got to be excited, though. Once we get to the schedule, that's like Christmas Day for a lot of us when we see who the opponents are, what the home schedule looks like, and some of the road trips. Can you tease at least something what her fans can be a little bit excited about? It'll be a competitive schedule. That's one thing I can guarantee. Again, we're fired up as well. I can guarantee it's going to be competitive with some really good teams, some really good coaches, and we look forward to taking the floor when that time comes. And I know that there's always going to be a surprise or two on this, but I would say with Marshall not officially in the MAC Challenge, don't worry because there's always going to be a MAC opponent or two there, so we'll get to see some familiar faces, I'm sure. Again, man, it's competitive. It's a competitive schedule with some really good coaches who've been doing it for a long time, who've won at a high level. And again, we look forward to taking the basketball court when that time comes. Okay, I tried to get you to spill something. I don't know. I'll just say maybe Akron's on the schedule. You can't confirm or deny that, but I can throw that out there. Just try my best. No, I can't confirm nor deny that. Well, the good news is, though, we're all excited waiting for that. So that's a good thing to know that we're all excited waiting. And I know you don't want to make it about you, but I'm going to. I'm excited for you. I hope that I hope we can make it about you a little bit. Just
just so you know, I think that this is great that you're going to be able to lead this program. So let me make it about you just for a little bit, if you will.
Well, I appreciate it. You know what? I learned at a young age that it's never really about me. It's always bigger than me. And again, that's why I got into coaching, because it's bigger than me. It's about those young men in the locker room. It's about this community. And I just look forward to everyone wrapping their arms, since we're talking Marshall basketball, around our guys, but I also hope that they wrap their arms around football and soccer and softball and volleyball and women's basketball, because, again, that's what makes this place special. I played here, what is this? It's 2024, so I graduated here in 2001. And I know ever since I've been back, and even before I got back, I always tell people across the country that Marshall is special because of the people. So I hope we can continue to live up to those expectations and continue to lift Marshall and raise it to new heights.
Yeah, it's not surprising anymore when we see your guys at other events. I know, say, for example, the volleyball team's almost at every single thing, and I'm sure your guys are going to be trying to hit every single event that they can do, be it football, be it volleyball, be it softball. I know you are that kind of way as well, trying to hit every single thing you can while still maintain well, I don't know how you maintain your schedule. I don't know how any coach maintains their schedule.
It's a part of it. Again, man, we're willing to do whatever it takes to make Marshall successful.
Corny, I've kept you long enough. Thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll talk to you soon, and of course, I can't wait till we find out some surprises on the schedule. Again, you can't say it. I'm just going to throw the rumor out, Akron. If it's not true, I'll take the hit, but I'm just saying, let's get Akron on the schedule.
I hear you, man. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Thanks, Corny. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Cornelius Jackson, head coach of the Marshall men's basketball team. Yesterday, I got Julie just to drop stuff like, yeah, we're going to possibly play Penn State. We're possibly going to play Georgia, we're going to go to Italy. I got her to drop that stuff. I think Corny did his homework. He realized I can't do that. So I'm going to throw things out there rumor-wise until the schedule is official. So I appreciate Corny coming on the program today. We'll get the text line open for you at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got more coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You know how you love Wendy's Frosty more than any other Frosty in the world? Well, it's easy because nobody else sells a Frosty, but that's not the point. What if I told you there's a triple berry Frosty? Well, surprise! I'm telling you right now, it's the next great Frosty flavor from Wendy's. It's a whole new look and taste just for the summer. New triple berry Frosty just in time for summer? It's gotta be Wendy's, even midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Ohio Valley Bank, dedicated to giving you the financial answers you deserve. Member FDIC. Carmichael Sales, carrying a great selection of used tractors, hay, and tillage equipment. 798 Pinecrest Drive, Jackson Pike. Secure Construction Company in Huntington. Secure Construction is home improvement in secure hands. SecureConstruction.com.
Let the good times roll. Downtown Huntington's premier weekly music event is back. It's Mount West 9th Street Live, presented by New Trail, Garage Beer, Big Truck, The Beast, La Marca Prosecco, and Matua Sauvignon Blanc. This Friday, it's Cruise Avenue. Music starts at 7 on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for Friday, August 2nd, when 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. The Thunder and Herd Rally is Friday, August 16th. 9th Street Live is driven by Yes Chevy, Yes Ford every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Marshall OBGYN, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Impact Media, Xfinity, and Kindred Communications.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Summer, what's not to love? Well, maybe not the scorching temperatures. Every day can't be 75 degrees with a breeze. So I went to Kohl's and stocked up on looks that'll keep me and my husband cool all season long. I got 20% off already great prices on linen dresses, cute jumpsuits, and comfy polos. Plus, I saved $15 because I spent over $75. And I earned Kohl's cash. So bring on the summer heat. We're ready to weather it in style. All thanks to Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end July 7th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. You can hit the show up now at 304-396-TALK, 303-996-8255. That's our text line. And we're going to give you an opportunity to win some Cold Cats tickets. We got 4 games coming up this weekend. So everyone who texts in today and participates in the show, I'll give you a choice of tickets. The only thing I need to tell you, I'll do that ahead of time, is that you got to pick them up tomorrow. So I know it's going to be very busy next few days. But if you're looking for Cold Cats tickets, you know the drill. We got your hookup. We take care of you all the time right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So let's get you caught up on a couple of things. First up is the herd's always getting bigger and the herd's always getting better, and the herd always is looking to be the very best it can possibly be. Coach Huff posting on his X account last night that Logan Osborne and Chris Matillo named to the National Football Foundation Hampshire Honor Society. That award is in recognition of superior academic performance and excellence in intercollegiate football. So congratulations to those young men. Also today, softball announcing the addition of junior transfer Paige Simpson out of Alberta, Canada. She is a junior, transferred from Idaho State. She's an infielder, and she played in 47 games, 39 starts, 7th in team batting average, 263. So she had a pretty good career so far. Back-to-back Big Sky honorable mention. Also, Marshall women's basketball, as we kind of mentioned earlier, I'll give you the heads up again on this. The Big Green Scholarship Foundation announcing that there's limited availability for traveling with Marshall's women's basketball team. They're doing a tour of Italy. And if you'd like a little bit more information on that, I would direct you to yesterday's edition of the show. It's posted now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get a hold of your podcast. If you're interested in this trip, Alicia Parker can be reached at 304-696-4661. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter writes in and says, Paul, did you see the overall ranking of the Thundering Herd in EA's football game? Yes, I did. I did see that because, again, our intern Ben Anderson, who is he's actually flexing his muscles right now like he did a good thing. He's that excited. He's flexing on me. He's excited because he had that in the notes. Marshall is 76th overall in the video game. 76. A 7-6 power ranking. They have an offense rated 7-4, 7 and 4. That's 74. And their defense is 7-9, 79. And I don't know. This is good. They're a 2-star team? You're not sure about that, Ben? Ben put my notes together. I haven't seen the numbers. This is the first I saw them. And the other Sunbelt school rankings that were released, Appalachian State, 78th overall, 77 on offense, and 79 on defense. So that's the power ranking of what those teams look like. Kentucky is a 3.5-star team with an 82 overall ranking, 81 overall offense, and 84 overall defense. So Appy is 78 overall. Marshall is 76 overall. 7-6. Is that generous, or is that underrating the Herd? Does it really matter? It's the video game. Does it really matter? There's some other things about the game, Ben. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't think people want to know about the Dynasty mode or anything like that. This is not the platform for that. So video game power numbers are out. I know Marshall's trying to have a little launch party for the game. They're hyping the video a little bit because Marshall was featured on a little bit of it. And so they're doing their thing at the Cam Henderson Center on the release of the video game. As we got into yesterday, they're not going to be able to play it because, well, there's reasons why. You can't, I guess you can't have that in like a public venue. You can't put that on the big screen over at the football stadium. I guess you can't do that over at the Henderson Center as well. That's a shame, though. I would have a contest, maybe a launch party with a contest first. Get some of the kids to come in. You know, that's a good event for the kids. When I say kids, I'm looking at our producer. Our intern is Ben Anderson, who's 20 years old. So I look at him, 20-year-old kids like my guy here, Ben, all fired up, ready to go. All right, let's get our final segment in, and we'll open up the text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. You're listening to The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Calling all brave souls, it's Go-Mart's summer of spooky savings. Now through July 31st, join the hunt for bonus reward points. Purchase specially marked items and earn points and unlock tokens for the most haunted spots in West Virginia. From Lake Shawnee to the Trans-Allegheny Asylum, unleash the spirits and collect all 7 tokens to earn 5,000 bonus reward points. Plus, stop in for a scare on Tuesdays and triple your bonus points with each purchase. To join the hunt, download the Go-Mart app today.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Thoroughbred Express Car Wash is not just offering jobs, we're offering careers that come with awesome benefits. Now picture this: weekly pay, PTO, 401k, medical benefits, free car washes, retirement plans, bonuses, and uncapped commissions. At Thoroughbred Express, we're not just about cars, we're about taking care of our team. We want outgoing, friendly, and fun individuals who bring their A game every day. If you're personable and ready to shine, Thoroughbred Express Car Wash is the place for you. Apply now at thoroughbredexpress.com or drop by any of our locations to meet the team. Thoroughbred Express Car Wash. Your bright future starts here.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Friday. I wish it was Friday. I'm thinking ahead. Welcome back to our Tuesday edition. It's The Drive at ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. You see where my head's at already. It's on July 5th. I'm looking ahead to the holiday weekend. Thanks for being a part of today's show. Our text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It's a pretty quiet day around these parts, and of course, that means we can get into some of the other things that are happening across the country. You know, there's going to be a long line of people wanting to sue other people and other entities over NIL. 16 former men's college basketball players, including Kansas stars Mario Chalmers and Sharon Collins, UConn guard Ryan Boatwright, and Arizona guard Jason Terry have sued the NCAA in multiple conferences for the unauthorized use of their name, image, and likeness in March Madness highlights. Now, I'm curious to see how this goes. Chalmers, if you don't remember specifically, he hit that three-pointer with 2.1 seconds left to tie Memphis and force overtime in the 2008 National Championship game. So it's a dramatic shot. I'm curious to see how this goes because, you know, those highlights get played over and over again, and I'm curious how that they're being monetized. Now, if it's part of the presentation, if the NCAA is using that or the television partners are using that as part of the presentation, I don't know how this is raking in the millions. I'm curious to follow this because there's a lot of other things going on. Like, example, you know, the NC State men's basketball team suing the NCAA and the CLC for unauthorized use of their name, image, and likeness, known as the Cardiac Pact. Coach Jim Valvano's team beating Houston in the final seconds of that championship game. Lorenzo Charles with a dunk did it. And so they sued because that highlight gets showed over and over in that team. And the only thing I remember from that is Jim Valvano just running around. That's the takeaway. I forgot that it was Lorenzo Charles that dunked that and made that possible. But there are going to be cases like this coming up, and I'm curious what's the ruling going to be as far as highlights are concerned, because in news gathering, you can't copyright a fact, for example. So I can say until I'm blue in the face that Lorenzo Charles dunked and Houston got beat, and I can mention that stuff, but am I now going to be handcuffed? I can't bring up something. Well, you know, you can't mention him because you're profiting off of Lorenzo Charles's name and you talk about the dunk. name, image, and likeness. There got to be some lines drawn here because, again, this was just an ability for players to maximize their ability to profit off of their name, their image, and likeness. So instead of a jersey that's sold with your number making money for the university, you could partner with the university now and say, okay, you can have my name and put it on the back of the jersey with a number, and I get a piece of that, or I can go work. I could want to have a side job where I perform, and people kind of want to see me. Maybe I'm a musician, and people want to see me because, one, I'm so-and-so, and two, that, hey, maybe I'm pretty good at this and actually want to pursue this after football or something I want to do. And while I'm in college, I can't go perform because, well, I was limited in what I was allowed to do and how to profit off of that. That's what name, image, and likeness to me meant. And then now it's, okay, we have to have major trusts formed to come up with opportunities. And we had a really interesting interview with Stevie Browning. I'm better for it after talking to Stevie, and that's back on our podcast. You can go and check that out now. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get those podcasts. And so you could go back and listen to that a little bit. Stevie talking about the Thunder Trust and how they're looking for opportunities to help with name, image, and likeness. And, of course, partner with individuals to find the right opportunity. I don't know if – I'm just going to use basketball as an example. So let's just say that Nate Martin gets a name, image, and likeness deal, and it's with a local car dealership. I'll just use the car dealership example. And so Nate gets an NIL deal where he gets a new car, and he also gets cash consideration. And in return, he's going to be the spokesperson for the dealership. He's going to be featured in all of the commercials, the marketing material. Hey, Nate Martin drives our vehicle. Come down to this dealership, and they'll take care of you the way they take care of me. Be the spokesperson. Yeah, how will the company profit off of that? Is the company trying to help the basketball program and use this as the way to do that, or does the company truly profit? And I think you're going to see more of those deals dry up when you realize how many people are coming down to buy a car based off of the celebrity and how many people are just buying a car because they need a car. And did this person have any sway over somebody? Hey, you know what? I was really looking at that Chevy, but I think I'm going to get that Yugo. It's like old car reference. Our producer doesn't know anything about the Yugo. It's a fine foreign-made vehicle. It's sort of like a wind-up car from overseas. It's an overseas wind-up toy car that it's like the Flintstone car, just about. It's poorly made, Ben. He has no idea what I'm talking about. So, hey, I'm marketing this Yugo. I'm marketing this this toy car here. It's a life-size toy car. And I was going to get this vehicle, but you know what? Since my guy Nate's repping this, I'm going to go get this. I don't know. I'm going to get a Kia Soul instead of this Chevy truck because, I don't know. You think Nate's a Kia Soul type of guy? I don't think so as well. Ferrari, maybe. Lamborghini, Porsche. Ford F-150, maybe. Yeah, I think he's more of a Ford F-150 guy. We'll have to ask him. Nate, what's your favorite? What's the vehicle? What's your vehicle? Give you a vehicle right now. Not that I'm going to, but if I could give you a vehicle right now, what would that be? It'd be like a Ford F-150. It's interesting to see how they're going to classify some of these cases because a highlight's a highlight. It happened. It's a fact. So if there's a highlight, are we going to limit the use of this? So if I shot a highlight of Nate Martin, I'll just use him again as my example. Nate's a good sport. I shoot a highlight of Nate Martin making a dunk, and I use that. If I use it in news capacity, then okay. Shouldn't be any problem there whatsoever. Now, if, say, I shoot a highlight package and I include that highlight in my highlight package and we're doing a video broadcast of Marshall basketball. I'm doing that. We're shooting a highlight package here. And then that's part of the highlight package that we use in our hype video. Is that violation of name, image, and likeness? If Nate has a tremendous dunk and CBS keeps that on file, he has a dunk. Say Marshall goes to the NCAA tournament and it's Nate Martin, thunder dunk. Marshall wins the game, advances on to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, championship game, who knows. And that highlight gets run back yearly or part of a highlight package or part of the video packages that accompany the broadcast. Does that mean that Nate is owed some money? And I'm not saying Nate's suing. I'm saying, is Nate owed money because that's name, image, and likeness, and that they're profiting off of showing his highlight? Is that something that a court will say, they're making lots of money because they're running this package, this video of these historic moments, and so these people are entitled to some compensation? How does that work? And then how does that work in the future? Are teams going to be required to, you're going to have to sign some limited licensing, some waivers here to get into the NCAA tournament? You're going to have to understand that we're going to use this stuff and we'll come to some agreeable monetary deal, but that means we're going to have a license to use this. How does all of that work? And is it really worth it? That's the curiosity here of some of these cases, because these will, of course, set precedent, and I'm sure they'll go and be appealed by some, and then they'll be kicked up to higher courts, and whatever the final rendering of the verdict is going to adjust what we see when it comes to name, image, and likeness. I just don't know how much you expect to get out of a case like this, because I look at these highlight packages, I look at these presentations, highlights are highlights. I go back to, you can't copyright a fact, for one. You can't copyright a fact. So Nate Martin dunks a basketball to win an Elite 8 game. That's an exciting moment. Okay. We include that in our highlight package, in our coverage. Are we infringing? But again, it happens. It's a fact. It's a factual thing. But what's the line between this is a fact and I am, in a journalistic sense, using this as something to talk about, something to cover a report on? Hey, we're talking about this event. This happened. It's a factual event. These things are interesting to me, and hopefully we can put a little bit more sense and order to them later on. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow, our final day. Of course, the show will continue the rest of the week with our producer, Ben Anderson, but I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.
Retransmitting in Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.
West Virginia Metro News.